I'm waiting for that beat to drop.
And messing up everything. It's been Sam Coleman all along. What's up, everyone? Happy Thursday. So happy to be here. It's going to be an awesome live stream. We got a full panel today with some very special guests. Of course, I'm Wandavision, Kyle from Fandom Media. I am joined here by the Vision, Sam Coleman all along, and HaxDogma. What's going on, everyone? Today we are going to be doing some predictions, theories. Just like we were talking a little bit before the stream about how much we've loved WandaVision so far. We'll talk about storytelling, kind of our own origin stories in Marvel and why we love this so much. And yeah, we'll just get into it. Let me introduce my co-hosts here. First and foremost, I would like to introduce my co-host, HaxDogma from the Marvel Podcast. What's going on, Hex?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Nice to be back. We also have the Vision. The Vision or the Vision?
Yeah, the Vision, I think we'll say, I don't know, man. Like I've had my third eye open trying to figure out this fucking show this entire time. So like I was the spelling of it and kind of like the craftsmanship I had to kind of leave by the wayside because I've been traveling down the Byzantine conduit. So like so forgive us for that. But yeah, Vision will go for, or you can just call me Sean, you can call me Tank, whatever it is, whatever floats your boat. But yeah, we're
Sean
over here.
Tank, Burlington Bar, the Vision for tonight. And last but not least, we have Sam Coleman all along, Sam Coleman, Young Hodor from Game of Thrones. Oh man, what's going on, brother?
It was me all along. How's it going?
Very good.
Sam Coleman all along.
It was. I mean, like you think about that, Sam. Like there was like an all along type of thing. Like they could be like it was like. Like it was Willis all along, like type of thing. Like you could have like, except for they didn't pop for a theme song. I guess Ramin was probably pretty busy, like scoring like every fucking awesome thing in the entire like history of media or whatever. But yeah,
no sing along though.
No sing along over there.
No sing along.
Isn't Ramin signed up? Speaking of, we'll do quick Game of Thrones. Ramin is signed on for House of Dragon, is he not?
He is.
Oh man, that's super excited. It's going to be really nice to have him back. So yeah, just super excited to be here, everyone. Let's get into it. Let's just kind of talk about our impressions of WandaVision so far. Whoever wants to take, actually, we'll go with you, Sam. What has been your impression of WandaVision? Sam. What has your impression been so far? We've had a few private conversations about how much we've enjoyed it and how good it's been. But what's been your impression of WandaVision so far?
Well, I mean, I love it. I love I mean, for someone who's in the biz, I guess, just about, it's a love letter to movies and to TV and to the whole sort of live / recorded entertainment sort of, whilst also still being Marvel. But the thing I love most about it is I think about all those sort of like, ooh, Marvel bro, who like watched the first episode, and then they were like, "No, where's the fighting? There's no fighting. It's just some stupid sitcom. I'm not watching this Dick Van Dyke rubbish. No, get it off." And they missed all of the cool stuff.
The meta bros like, "Oh my god, this is not Marvel. It doesn't have 70 fucking."
When's Iron Man gonna show up? Where's Iron Man?
No,
Iron Man's gonna be here.
Right. We're here for we're the defenders, not the revengers, or what it was. No, I didn't say. I was thinking about this, not to interject or whatever, but Sam, to your point, I put this out on one of our videos where I was like, have they fired a gun or a firearm in this entire show? And we figured it out. The only time that a firearm was discharged in the entirety of this show, unless somebody's out there that's really like it's done like, I don't know, like gun check or whatever it is, but like unless, and there's probably a guy with a YouTube channel who's absolutely doing that, but 100%. But like I think the only time that a firearm was discharged was at the Fish Pants, the 70s Fish Pants, when she was just like, I gotta see what this thing's made of or whatever the hell's going on, and like
they're like vibranium now because they've exposed
right. She got vibranium fish pants, which is like, move the fuck over, Wolverine. Like, we got a new fucking fish pants badass in town. But no, I to your point, like it's almost like they put together a checklist of like stuff that they wouldn't allow themselves to kind of do for at least a while, and it's kind of made it all the more interesting for it. So yeah, so that's a lovely point to bring up.
Just wanted to point out some awesome people in chat. We have a couple of donations here. We have one from Maura Lee and also from Maud Mary. Let's give them a round of applause for their. Thank you very much.
Totally.
Maura Lee says, hype and love to my favorite YouTuber and guest. This will be fun, of course. This will be fun, Maura Lee. Let us know if you have a question in the live chat. We will get to that for you for that generous donation. And of course, Maud Mary says, a coin for my Wanda watcher. Passing a coin to your YouTubers.
Well done. Well
Hell
done.
yeah.
Oh,
Well
thank
done.
you very much, Maud Mary. That's been really interesting. The fact that the only time the gun has been fired has been by Monica.
I was thinking it was just kind of interesting because it's like with a lot of these and it is like kind of coming off of like the normal Marvel thing, which is it's kind of on literally like a cosmic scale level of destruction, like, and coming off of that. This is coming off of like that Endgame kind of level of spectacle, and then kind of whittling it down to like like the frame has literally been limited and compressed. You know what I mean? Like, and kind of, and that was sort of what it was. It's this wild tightrope walk that they've kind of been doing, at least, but they've spun one of the most interesting things that I think the MCU has ever put together to date.
Yeah, and I love that as well. Like, it's going from that heavy action. We actually just rewatched Endgame last night, and it was just like, amazing movie, right? But halfway through, it's like the most action you'll ever get, and then the other half of the movie is the cool down of that. And then, so it's like going from that, it feels like what they've, like, this entire thing, it's not like, I don't really know how to classify the show other than a mystery, right? Because it's like you first watch it, it's like you're seeing these oddities, these characters, that they're not supposed to be in black and white, and there's little clues about stuff. And so it's like, I feel like when I describe this to people, I always say it's just a mystery show, but in the Marvel universe, and that's like, and it's such a cool direction. I feel like this last episode is going to be all the action. I feel like that, I feel like it has to have action.
Oh, sure.
And then I think there was a comment or an interview that talked about like the amount of CGI was like going to rival Doctor Strange or Endgame itself. I forget, but
the big fight. Yeah, the big fight.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think it was like I think the kind of like the boilerplate budget for, I think, some of these Disney Plus shows, because I think Mandalorian has been around like about a $150 million or something like that for television, and
that was actually the same budget for WandaVision and also Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Right, and so I think that, and because this show has definitely had like moments of really great spectacle and really interesting stuff, but like I don't know, definitely for like at least like the first like 3 or 4 like episodes, like it was nothing too crazy, nothing it's like a couple of black and whites and maybe a little compositing here or there. So it's like, where's this 150 mil going? And the fact that that we've kind of it's like a lot of things, like if you kind of wait and are patient, you'll be kind of rewarded with this kind of big kind of twisty kind of thing. I think it's because I also think it's not going to be like a bunch of punching. It's going to be really weird.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be
especially if Doctor Strange shows up and we get some like temporal.
Oh my god! We're going to be doing all that stuff. Yeah,
all geometries. Yeah,
that's in the thumbnail. He's one comment that I thought you made that was really interesting, Chris, was the classification of what would we classify WandaVision as a mystery. Like most Marvel movies, I think we could classify as action. We're like, these are superhero movies.
Yeah.
That's what we've come to expect. But if you think about it, like we had the 20th anniversary of Marvel. They've really come a long way in their storytelling, and like there's some movies where I'm like, I'm not really gonna go rewatch that, but there are other movies like that I go back and rewatch. And I'm like, damn, Marvel is really killing the game, man. I know they have the most money, but they also make the best decisions, taking the best stories from the best comics. It's like so hard to knock them, man, when they're making the best castings, when they're doing shit like this. Like, I feel like, Dragon Ball Z, Goku goes Super Saiyan. I feel like WandaVision is Super Saiyan form for Marvel. It's that good,
Yeah, totally agree. And honestly, like in the classification of movies, right? Like Marvel is known for these big action movies. And so like during the rewatch, something that stood out to me is Captain America, the second Captain America movie, The Winter Soldier. Like, it is very much a political drama. Like it is, there's definitely action, there's definitely fighting, and we see Captain America and Bucky reunite, and you know, that's touching. But like the overall plot is like, hey, should we surveil the world and do that by like putting these massive guns in the world that just constantly point down at the Earth? You know, and but it became a political drama, right? About like, should we do that? And that extended into Ultron and the Sokovia Accords, and I think we're still seeing, you know, the output of what the Sokovia Accords can do, and what they mean for heroes on Earth. And yeah, I mean, I love it. It's definitely action. All of Marvel is action, and I think we're definitely going to see that in this finale. But there's so much more, and I also think that's one of the reasons that it's so easy, like, to shit on Marvel. I feel like everybody that has like a big criticism of Marvel is that it's just like, you know, all action. There's no plot. There's no like deeper meaning to anything. When in reality, like if you start looking at these stories, like there's actually profound thoughts about.
Wrote a lot of these stories about social justice back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and surveillance and you know, censorship and you know, your objective free will and perspective of reality and how you should you know, not use your power sometimes when you can. And yeah,
Marvel has been an icon for representation too, especially for Wiccan, who becomes who is a gay character in the comics. Who has,
right.
Pete
Yeah,
as well.
it's gonna be a big fucking deal for sure.
Speaking of politics, Sam, you're involved in politics in the UK. I don't want to get
literally
too
a
much.
politician.
He's literally a politician.
Literally an duly elected politician.
Yeah. I mean, I'm an actor, a politician, and a magician. Like, you could just sum that up as like dishonest bastard.
That's so
honesty, love it.
You just love being able to express yourself and in the ways you like enjoying life. But what I think is interesting is I think we know that Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to have more of some of those, like, you know, Baron Zemo, like more of some of those ties to Hydra, the deeper politics of, like, you know, the anti-American element, the you know, because we know that, you know, Papa Stark was helping make Captain America, and that's when things were really starting to pop off with mutants and X-Men and stuff like that.
Right.
And this one seems more like an emotional journey, like trying to get the audience to understand how Wanda is feeling, like having to relive these moments again, Sam, of like seeing Wanda re-experience her traumas. Like the last episode, me and Hax keep on saying, you know, that last episode was the best one, but this last one was like, holy jeez, like, how do you feel about that? Like, has that had a big impact on you as far as like how you've enjoyed WandaVision?
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly, I mean, that last episode was incredible. The sort of, it was so masterful, the way that they sort of took us back through time, built it all together. And although there was some really cheesy bits, like showing the case of DVDs that show all of the references to the previous, but still, you were kind of like, no, this is fine. It's Marvel. They're taking the piss out of themselves a bit. They know that this is cheesy. And then we get some, like, the beautiful scene with Vision in the base camp and all of that jazz.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's great. It's a great show. And I think on the note of sort of no, I've just completely forgotten what I was going to say. Never mind. Somebody else talk.
Well,
what do you guys think of the line? You know, what is grief if not love persevering? Because like I loved it. I was like, damn, that is profound. And then I look on the internet, and everyone's just like, yeah, you know, there's an equal batch. There was like the screenwriters that I follow on Twitter that were like, wow, this is a profound thought. And then the people mocking those screenwriters that were like, wow, this is a profound thought, but we're going to turn it into a meme. And like, not that like we're not that.
Meme, and I'm guilty. I'm just as guilty as the next. I've definitely memed it a couple of times. Like,
oh yeah, totally, totally. But it's like people like actually. I don't know. It feels like a legitimate criticism of the line. You know, ultimately, yeah. So what do you guys think?
I mean, well, you know, I think that another thing, you know, like, and I know that a lot of shows are about escapism and stuff like that, but I mean, like, you know, this is a show that is, you know, dealing very explicitly, you know, about like with grief and loss, and you know the fact that, you know, like we're in this weird fucked up collective like moment of grief and loss, like loss of our lives, loss of our literal loved ones in some cases. And so it did remind me of this one. It's a much smarter person than I think he said like, you know, the pain that you feel from loss is the receipt of how much that person meant to you in their lives. And that's kind of I don't know, like that. It struck a very similar chord in that way, and so I thought it was incredibly powerful, and the fact that like we can have all of this, all the melodrama and everything that's kind of swirling around it, but at least within Marvel's done a pretty good job as far as definitely of all the plates that they have spinning to keep that kind of central idea that sort of unifies the whole thing.
Family, the theme of
family in the center, like right. I mean, like, and kind of what to your point before, Hex, like it was, you know, they seem it, and this is another like quarantine cooking where like I'm cooking like 6 chicken breasts. And then I'm going to season this one with like a little bit of lemon and garlic for Tuesday. And then Wednesday, I'm going a little more of a chipotle. I'm going to cut it up and make it, you know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of how like Ant-Man was like kind of a heist movie. Like it was kind of like a techno, like kind of like espionage thriller with like Winter Soldier. Like Guardians of the Galaxy is a big hodgepodge kind of like if you made like a movie literally about a bunch of drunks like in the Star Wars cantina, basically. You know what I mean?
Buddy cop comedy as well.
Seriously, you know, and so I think that you know that's kind of how it's been, but it's definitely with the expanded runtime that a show allows you to do. Because that was the other thing that I was kind of thinking about, because this show, very interestingly, has kind of backfilled a lot of the other films before. Like now, like moments between Wanda and Vision mean so much more. Like, you know,
Age of Ultron. Like for example, like, I just want to jump in here. Like,
please.
Age of Ultron. I don't know if I would consider that. Like if I had to recommend 5 movies to a friend who was just getting into Marvel, I don't necessarily know Age of Ultron would be on that list. For example, like I don't know about you guys, or maybe in chat you guys want to let us know. But now I'm thinking about it. I'm like because her comic origin, you know, there's a couple of different origins. Her Magneto is her father, which I still think which they could explore. Right. And, you know, obviously there's another one which, you know, I think both Chris and I have talked about, kind of her being exposed to chaos magic from this like dark elder god, which we could still see in the finale named Chthon. Right. But like this, like they're kind of fixing like. I was okay with them changing things from the MCU. Like, okay, this is a new origin story. This is the MCU. But the way they've done it now is like, oh my God, like now they can explore all of this mythology in Doctor Strange 2 and all of these movies. And if they want to, like, she could have been just, I don't want to call Hawkeye a B-list character. Because he's getting a show. But you know what I mean? He was never a main protagonist like a Thor or an Iron Man or whatever. Now, we can almost get a Wanda movie at some point in the future and be so compelled because we saw WandaVision and be like, I want to see that. That's must watch.
I would watch a Wanda Central movie before probably any other Central character, including Hawkeye, who is garbage.
Oh man, we're gonna be covering Hawkeye. Well, that's rude.
Hold on, Hawkeye. We're gonna take you right over there and put you right into the trash. Like, right?
I'm giving you the shame bell for that. I never given my co-host the shame bell. I don't think yet.
No, I love it. No, I mean, like, but I think that because I looked at again, like talking about dudes, like, you know, gun watch, like I'm listening, like somebody went in and and this was from years ago, but like they went in and they took like literally every single moment that Wanda and Vision shared, because, you know, they've had a relationship for a long time throughout the comics for decades. And so it was, you know, and so they went in and they literally parsed through and they found every single moment that they shared throughout the big MCU movies. And my dudes, it was 10 minutes worth of material.
I was going to say it couldn't have been long. Yeah.
10 minutes worth. It was 10 minutes. This, we get, you know, I'd say about, what would you say, 4.5 hours? It's going to kind of equal out to be right around there. Yeah, it's going to be. And
that's what they're aiming for each project, apparently.
Right. And so, oh yeah, that is because it's more. But like so 5-6 episodes more. And so it's just this. I don't know. They can kind of be a little more. They can be a little more nimble. They can be a little more weird, and they can kind of be a lot more complex than I think.
Oh yeah.
Then I mean, that's why, like, you know, Falcon and Winter Soldier, because I've been saying the same thing. Like, it's gonna be, you know, they're gonna be like, you know what, it's gonna be Lethal Weapon and Winter Soldier kind of like type stuff, which is awesome, by the way. I love Anthony Mackie and I love Luke Skywalker. What's his name again? I can't remember the actor's name right now. The guy the guy who should have played Luke Skywalker in
Sebastian Stan. Oh yeah, we talked about it
Sebastian
during the Mandalorian season.
No, I love
yeah.
that. But I love.
He does look like young Luke. Whoa.
He looks insane, and he's already on the Rolodex. Just get him in there. You know what I mean? Like, but like I love their chemistry, but now I'm thinking because of how well plotted and really subtle, like and kind of and artful that they've been with this particular story. Yeah, I'm like, are we gonna like? They could really get. It could be more interesting. It could be the action thing, and it will be. But I think they could also get into some really interesting territory with all their shit.
Me and Chris have had a debate about this. Like, it's not to say Hax isn't excited about it, because we're both excited about it. I think we're both more excited about Loki, and I want to kind of get your thoughts on all of that too. But like now they're going to explore all of Sam's backstory and like getting to know his sister and his family, getting to understand Bucky's grief without Cap. Now that Cap's moved on from Captain America, like who is Captain America? Sam's struggling with that. So I think we're underestimating to be like, oh, that's going to be an action. But now I'm kind of like really hyped for it because what do you think, Sam? Do you think like they're going to surprise us for that?
I mean, I'm up for romance. I mean, that would be great, wouldn't it? Imagine those like sweaty Marvel bros.
Oh,
like,
finally,
amazing.
Here we go. Oh, what? Oh no! Turn it off.
Like Anthony Mackie would be like, "I liked you when your hair was longer."
I would love it. He just like looks and like Thor passes by and he's like that. Like
Chris Hemsworth is the most jacked out of all of them. My God.
Totally. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's not that I'm not excited for it. I think that they could do great.
Yeah.
I just think that we are now in the realm of this like crazy, realms, magic, sorcery. A point where like technology and magic meet, where it's like we could legitimately make a claim that we're at that point. And so it's not to say that I'm not going to like it. I'm just afraid that they won't be able to capture that same thing that they have here with that new show, because we're in such a fascinating part of the story. So it's like we're in like the mystic cosmos and the grand scale of everything, and then we're going back to the buddy cop comedy on Earth, like and then so ultimately I think they can do it because of what they've done with WandaVision. A lot of people doubted that WandaVision would be good,
especially with how they've done the phases, right? Like Marvel Phase 1 was like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. Phase 2 got a little bit more crazy. Phase 3, okay, now we're starting to get a little bit more funky. Phase 4, now it's like, okay, now they can really start to explore Doctor Strange and Wanda and Fantastic Four and all of these elements of Marvel that are considered more, I don't want to use the word niche, but,
I think it's fair.
But that's the kind of thing. It's like choose your own adventure with Marvel. Like if you would go to the comic book store, you can pick whatever kind of however you want to butter your toast, you would
have the guys you would have the guys that they liked a little bit more of like the kind of the cosmic stuff. You had some of your horror guys or whatever it is. You had some of your straight like action, like I just like Batman and Superman. I like kind of like the meat and potato stuff. And then nobody talks to the Punisher guys. You know what I mean? Like everybody leaves the Punisher guys alone. You're like, no, I mean I'm joking. Even though I like Punisher when I was growing up. But it is true. I mean, like I think that they've been smart in the way that they've kind of approached like the filmmaking and the storytelling to like we literally want to create like a visual medium that feels like a comic book world. I mean, like that's kind of I think that's sort of the most impressive feat about Infinity War and Endgame is because if you've watched all the films, all of a sudden like Red Skull just shows up and they don't really explain it, but it's
still weird.
But you kind of know, like you're like, oh yeah, like he got sucked into the thing and whatever, and then it kind of excites your imagination and shit. And it's like that's what would happen in comic books all the time. Like Punisher's like kicking ass and doing whatever, and then like all of a sudden he like runs into Daredevil, like going to get like a hoagie at like a corner store or some shit. You know what I mean? So, like I think that they're kind of, at least I think that was sort of the kind of like the grand like. We did start this on 420, by the way, but like, it's like, you know what? We're gonna make a cinematic universe that is like reading a fucking comic book, man. And they kind of to their credit, they're kind of succeeding, like in a lot of ways. Yeah. So like, yeah, I think that
it's the number one stream show. It's number one. It's the number one show out there.
Is it? It is number one. I mean, yeah. And that's again, like I remember being one of those guys that was sort of like. This'll do. I was like, because you kind of look at like what you think your your videos are going to do. You're going to like, I think we're going to get this per video. I think we're going to get this per video. It's like, I think, and I put it down, and it's like, no, like the interest has been through the roof and that's
Crazy.
because what you were talking about, Hex, with like the mystery element, and that's what I think has been the big thing that I think has kind of brought it all together,
Yeah, and talking about mysteries, I mean, what you were just saying there, Sean, if you try to analyze this WandaVision and try and put it in the real world and try and make sense of everything that's going on, it falls apart instantly. The second you're like, no, but where are the sets? Why is she directing? Surely they'd know she was what? But is it real or is it imagine? But they just go, no, it's a force field sending out a signal. Looks like a TV show.
Yeah.
The end, and we're like, okay, brilliant.
What do you want? We need to look at this. We need the characters that are outside of the Hex to engage with this in some way, and we can be and. I don't know. Like, I think that
usually breaking the fourth wall. It's like requires a bigger event, but they broke the fourth wall within the fourth wall.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was like, holy Jesus! Like,
now
we're getting into Westworld territory.
Yeah, when Vision was like, "What am I doing here?" and then just flew off. That was incredible.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there like, you know what I mean. He knows he's doing an interview, and then Wanda's like, "Why is the director like?" I don't know. It's just been so fucking.
It's honestly funny though, because like, after we get the reveal that Agatha's the director there, and we know that the interview with Wanda is with Agatha, like, who is Vision talking to, right?
Right.
It's like, if there's some kind of transitive property there, right? Like, we should see that, or the reveal. We ultimately don't need it. It's ultimately just the joke of hey, my wife needs me. I was distracted while she is absorbed into Mephisto, maybe, but
oh my God, F's in chat for Mephisto theories. That is the newest thing everybody's shitting on, but whatever.
But yeah, that's good. And Vision, in terms of like character progression, I love Vision so much. I'm so glad that we got this, like, because the world still views him as this object, and this one person, probably the only person that still is alive anymore, views him as something other than an object. And Tony like acknowledges when at the start of Endgame, like Tony acknowledges, like, hey, we don't need to track him anymore. He's not a bot. He's not a murder bot like Ultron or anything like that. He's his own being. That's such a wholesome thing. And then now Tony's gone, and it's just Vision. Like his acknowledgement to his contribution to everything that he's done is basically only being held by Wanda's perception of him. And after that, it's done. Like,
and he was originally slated to become the next Ultron, which we got in the after credit scene, which is we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But I want to talk about like Vision, and kind of him getting this essence of life from the Mind Stone, and him, because they showed the moment in the last episode with Wanda and Vision watching Malcolm in the Middle, and you can see how genuinely curious Vision was to learn about how she was feeling, and he was like there to comfort her. So he was obviously more than just an android. You know what I mean? Like he was sensing her emotions. He was in touch with what she was feeling, which is such a brilliant thing. And in the last episode, it kind of felt like the Mind Stone chose Wanda. Did anybody else feel like that? Because I felt like when that Mind Stone opened up like that, all the other subjects were dead, right? Like, we know that Infinity Stones aren't just going to interact with anyone. But for that to happen is a pretty big freaking deal, I think, for the Marvel.
I mean, ultimately, like what I come to is, do we consider the Mind Stone having agency, or do we have, to consider that the Mind Stone is being controlled by somebody else, and that was ultimately what made it reach out to Wanda, right? Because like there is a case to be made, like the Mind Stone at one point like communicates with Vision, and it's like, hey, like it's kind of like warning me of the other stones that they're getting closer or something like that. Right. It's not really described, but again, so there's like this case that someone could be behind the Infinity Stones. It couldn't just be them being their own beings, but at the same time, it could be them being these talking stones, and we don't need to explore it any further. But yeah, I don't know.
No, that's an interesting thing to say. Where it just like where the Mind Stone is, like, it's like, hey, what's going on? I'm the Mind Stone, so I'm a statue. Hey guys, you know what I mean, like, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I mean, like, but that's a very interesting kind of point, and it's definitely something that that kind of was very similar to what you guys were talking about before, like with the. Who was Vision? Was he actually talking to Agatha? We got to move on. Like we got the gag, we got the fucking theme song. Like it's fine. And honestly, sometimes that is just we're dealing with fucking characters that are running around with capes, you know, in scenarios where we supposedly have hidden identities and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a certain suspension of disbelief that you kind of have to do with this type of stuff. But I think that's it's a good point to kind of bring up, like, the big weird, like, smoothie that Vision is, like, because he's like part, you know, and they even kind of say this, I think, at some point in one of the movies, where it's like part Mind Stone, part just like this, you know, this AI, you know, Stark technology, you know, etc. And
part Bruce Banner,
right,
part Helen Show,
so crazy, and like, and so, like, I think that, and now that. And kind of, we were talking about, like, how much of a joy it's been to watch Paul Bettany kind of perform, especially in this one, because and it's informed by what happens, because she literally, that was a big reveal for me. Was when we found out, because we were wondering, did she literally get like a duffel bag of Vision and walk out a sword? But that didn't happen. She literally chaos magic spun him out of, you know, into reality, and so. And that makes sense because he's a little more emotive, and he's a little more, you know, he's got like he's got like a little, he's not as kind of I don't know, I guess, like, what, let's
he's
just
literally
say,
attuned to her feelings because he's made of her.
for sure. And like, and so, and that was, and I think that was, and they said we can work this into the show, we can work this into it, and we can kind of get like funny Paul Bettany back again, because the first time that I ever saw that motherfucker was in the Knight's Tale.
Knight's Tale, hell yeah!
When I was when I was in the fucking cinema and like whatever, and I was wearing like those terrible sandals that we wore in the early aughts and late 90s, like those Air Jesuses, I called them, or whatever. They were so bad.
And by the way, he's the only actor that's left that's has been in a Marvel movie across 3 decades because of Iron Man, because he was Jarvis's voice.
Oh, sure.
So I think, Pepper Potts. Yeah, but I think that this could be his last appearance.
Okay. I hope not.
Okay, well, let's. Okay, no. I thought that was very interesting. Okay, this is, and people go 50-50 on this all the time. Like, is she going to have to give him up? Is Wanda just going to have to say bye-bye again? Is that happening with Vision? Are we going to lose him again?
Yeah, so there's like a big debate, and you brought this up when you talked about her, you know, creating him, and that was why he was so attuned to her feelings. Like, you know, there's a really good point here that, like, the Vision that we've seen and the Vision that we're bonding with, you know, isn't the real Vision, because clearly he was made by Wanda.
Yes.
But should that Vision, you know, want to live, like, after he acknowledges that he is the creation of Wanda, he would then understand that his, you know, everything. Well, I guess my point: how could he ever understand if his feelings were his own, or only because he was the product of Wanda? You know, like, as if the very Westworld take there, but you know, like, at the end of the day, I think he might lose to White Vision. And we might have Paul Bettany in the show, in the sense of, like, that becomes the Sentinels that protect the world. Or we could see you know, Vision genuinely come out of it, and then again he still has to overcome this hurdle of, wow, like, am I a real person? Should I be alive? Like, the me that was the most me wanted to die at that time. So, you know, being alive, is that you know, not a true fidelity of who I would be and what I am. But I'll give my predictions after Sam jumps in, because you were going to say something right before there. Chris was going to jump in there, Sam. But what was your thoughts on that?
It's gone. But no,
I'm trying to monitor everyone. I'm like,
I was just thinking. It's interesting because obviously we've started to get sort of a redemption arc, if you like, for Wanda now, because you know, in the beginning it was trying to paint Wanda as this kind of potentially, through her grief, sort of inadvertently enslaving an entire town. And bending them to every will, potentially stealing a body and resurrecting it despite the express wishes of the owner of that body not to come back to life. All of these things which were painting Wanda as this kind of inadvertent, the classic sort of villains sort of Genesis story where they are stripped by grief, and their loss causes them to do something stupid, and they get consumed by power and rage and etc. But now we're starting to see, well, actually, no, she didn't steal his body. It was through that, you know, and all it is that, because anybody who feels grief and loss, if you could bring back the person that you've lost, like she did, just, you know, letting out a big burst of energy and they come back to life and you get to recreate them. If you could make everyone around you, if you could make everyone around you forget that all happened and act as if everything's normal and things are, you know, you would. And so it's kind of this thing of, well, actually, no, she's just got untapped power. And it's not so sort of evil or rage driven. It's more just a big burst, and now she can be brought back in, and you know, so that's going to be interesting how that plays out.
I also.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no. One thing to piggyback off of that, just real quick, and then I'm sorry, but the other thing is that like a bunch of those memories that we were showing, that you know we were walking through, that you know that Agatha was walking her through, that Agatha was kind of in control of, where she's like, no, go and get into that memory, and I'm sure and so, you know, I don't know, that song is a fucking bop, and it definitely there could also be like there could be more. There could be more Agatha kind
more
of
bops.
Well, I mean, like insofar as we could that theme song could come back in a big way, where because again, like, you know, the whole like, is she, because I kind of, even though because they lean so kind of hard to her possibly being like a malevolent kind of force or whatever, kind of made me think like, I don't think that's where we're going. People were saying that she's going to be like the fucking straight up villain that Doctor Strange had to fight with his
Love it,
fist.
dude.
Like, no, which like I think would be kind of fun. The only thing the only marker that takes that away is that shit doesn't mean anything because they don't really have a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. The only reason that Civil War fucking matters is because like Cap and Tony have been friends and they've been homies for a long time. And there's a relationship there, and it's a complicated one, but there's a relationship there. And so her to just come in and just be the big bad. I think it's going to be a weird, like trippy Sam Raimi horror like buddy like film. You know what I mean? Like,
he's directing Doctor Strange too, man.
That's what I'm saying, and like that's fun. Like that's one of the hey, we're getting this guy to direct a movie. I haven't been this excited for a fucking Marvel movie in a hot.
Who's directing it?
Sam Raimi is directing Doctor Strange too.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
They got
directed all this.
No.
Directed all the Spider-Man movies, and that's why people think Tobey Maguire and all that are coming back in the multiverse.
I looked this up because when we were doing some of the first movies that Kevin Feige ever had like an associate producer hand in or whatever the fuck it was were the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies back in the day. And there was a
crazy.
And there's a point, I can't remember I think it's in the third movie where I think J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons is rattling off like, no, I think it's in the second, it might be in the second movie, but he's like, we need a good name. You know, it's like, what about Spider-Boy? No, like, you know, Doctor Strange taken, you know, like, or whatever. So, and I would bet that Kev and Sam were like, dude, Doctor Strange is one of my favorite fucking characters, but we'll never make one. Well, you know, like we'll never make one of those, will we? You know, like I don't think so, or whatever. And now it's kind of
Doctor Strange is going to be in like every Marvel movie.
I mean, I just want like, and I'm just like, because they can get, because we're, you know, the whole theatro of it all is still a kind of a very interesting unanswered question. Like, we don't exactly know. Like, we know that he's not. It seems like he's not a closet Mephisto. Those fucking Mephisto theories are just running through our hands like the Ark of the like the Ark of the Covenant, like when they put their hand in it and just runs through their fingers.
We're trying to theorize like Game of Thrones. We're looking for artifacts and conversation points around the Night King, Azor Ahai. Like we're back in that territory again.
No, but the, you know, and I think that there were a couple little, we talked about Demon Spawn, like there were little teeny tiny things that took glob on with that, but you know, she's in control of him.
Sean, just 1 second, my man. You're robotic. You want to pop out and pop back in, and we'll get you back in.
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, I'll be right back. My bad.
Everybody else heard that, right? It wasn't
yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Well, Sean's gone. Do you guys watch Sean and their reactions to WandaVision? I love it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things, parts of the week.
And by the way, for everybody that's watching right now, you can find the links to Sean's cameo, which is got great reviews, of course, because Sam is Awesome. So you should go check out Cameo, his Twitter, all of that, all his social media in the description of the video. If you want to go check out him and talk with him, we got Hax and Hex, or I should say HaxDogma for today. His YouTube and social media in the description, and also Sean's is also in the description. So if you want to go check out anybody from this panel today, you can find it in the description really easy there, everyone. And yeah, just support. We're all about support. We're talking about new things and having fun, and it's cool to find other opinions on stuff like this.
What so there's been some chat. There's been some chat in the chat.
Okay, let's get to it.
Wanda's utilitarian, good or bad?
Yeah, I see. Jax is definitely going off in there. Let's bring it up, and then I'm going to bring up why I think what I think is going to happen with White Vision, and I think I'm going to give 3 options for everyone, the chat, the panel, and say what I'm going to think is going to happen. But we'll go with Chris's question real quick.
Right.
What do you think?
So. Okay, so the whole basis is, he's comparing what Killmonger did to what Wanda's doing. Killmonger's plot was essentially to take Wakandian weapons and put them all over the world and commit genocide. A little less than genocide, but yeah. And Wanda's plot is essentially lost control and now wants to, not wants to do anything, but wants to exist in this world in which she's actively enslaving people. Yeah, I think Killmonger's still probably worse, and there is a claim that Wanda never explicitly wanted to do this. She never had the intent. There was no malicious foresight to make this happen. But it's the intent versus impact argument, where the impact is still there. People are still enslaved, and at the end of the day, there is definitely a point where you cannot call yourself a hero when you enslave anybody, right?
And by the way, we're not arguing that she's a hero. Nobody ever said this on here. But I think I'm going to jump in here. We gotta think about Hayward. Literally broke the Sokovia Accords and broke Vision's will by trying to make him into a sentient weapon. He did 2 really shitty things in record time after Monica's mom, Maria Rambeau, who built SWORD on observation and literally going to observe sentient intelligence in planets. Complete change. This is more like military type, the military goofs that we were talking about earlier, like the warmongers, like the Justin Hammers of the world who are trying to profit off weaponry. Mm-hmm. So I think that, Chris, continue, but I think that I don't see her as a villain either, which is what he's arguing in here.
Yeah, I mean, so I would actually I consider her a good guy. I consider her a hero, and in the sense that I believe that there is still some room for accountability to not be explicitly on Wanda. If we can prove that Hayward was ultimately the trigger for this, in the sense that he kind of was, but maybe more so, maybe something to tie him, there to preemptively make this a plot to cause this to happen, to get her magic. Might get accountability off of Wanda, or make the world know that so that the world doesn't view her as the person that just enslaved these people. Because it feels like we've had this story over and over again where the hero, doesn't mean to, but accidentally kills people. And then we have to go, oh, okay, they didn't mean to do that. Their intent is good. They're good guys. We should all just, ignore the dead people. And so it's it feels like something that they've overdone. And so I don't want them to keep doing that. I want them to somehow prove this is either, Cthon in the sense that he was the one that proposed the Scarlet Witch image to her, and that's what she aspired to be, not knowing that it would cost all of these lives and cost all the suffering that she's gone through to become the Scarlet Witch. Or again, the Hayward route where accountability is on him because it was explicitly his plot to make her lose control. And as such, she was just the bomb and he was the detator.
I think it's going to be both.
Yeah, he was definitely, he was very much, he was like, oh, why don't you go take a little look over there?
Dude.
It was so, it was like.
You can turn up a little bit if you want, Sean.
Oh, okay, for sure. Right on. Yeah. And then, but yeah, it was definitely,
He's like, yeah, you like. He was like, "Yeah, you like this? You look at your dead husband over there, idiot." Yeah.
Not to stick up for Wanda because she still did enslave all of those people, but but Hayward did literally force her in the midst of her grief to stare at her husband, her lover's body being ripped apart and
3 weeks
rebuilt
after
and
she lost in
taken-
an Endgame.
and you know, that's going to do crazy things to someone with all of that power and no sort of training to deal with it. You know.
Yep. And then the dagger in the back is just spitting in her face. Is like, yeah. The thing is, yeah, you don't own him. It's mine. This is my property. I'm not going to let you walk out with a monetary value that I assigned that, you know, doesn't at all relate to the thing that you consider him to be. Like, he is property and he is my property.
Yeah.
Suck it. Like,
dude.
So next subject that we're going to jump into before I'm going to say what I think is happening. Let's get into. I see some really awesome comments about. Let's talk about if we think Agatha is working with someone else, because I'm seeing the rabbit. We haven't seen the. I think she showed us transmutation in the last episode, which is cool, and also we haven't seen her husband Ralph yet, and it's the 9th episode.
I hope Ralph is nobody.
Okay, well, I'm gonna debate you on that. That's
I hope it's nobody. I hope it's one of the points that. Like,
okay, so what about this? So here's what I think happens. We got the two visions, right? They're gonna duke it out, right? Yeah. One of the visions is gonna win. Monica's gonna help, and Agatha's gonna get knocked out because Monica's gonna be like Captain Marvel, powerful. Okay.
Yeah. Then
we're gonna get a scenario where Vision is alive, okay, but he's not gonna have any of his memories left, and this kind of follows. Some of the comic book storyline. Vision, it'll be so no matter how it goes, if we get a scenario, these are the 3 different scenarios where I think it could go. Vision cancels each other out, both of them die because one can't live outside of the hex, all of that, you know what I mean? Right. The other Ultron's is like gonna die from either Monica or Wanda. And then we get another situation where, you know, they fuse and we get Vision back, which wouldn't kind of go with the theme of tragedy, but I think what's going to happen is, and it doesn't matter because I think it's tragic no matter how all of this goes down. The fact that Vision's going to be alive, but she doesn't remember any of their relationship, and this whole thing is predicated on her creating that because she wants that back. That's going to be so fucking tragic. I think that's what's going to happen.
I mean, I'm with you, Kyle, and I think it's going to be a big old sad. I think it's going to be, you know, kind of. I think kind of all roads sort of lead to that, and then I think that's kind of what is going to give us kind of, you know, kind of going back to the love persevering thing. There's an amazing YouTube clip where Anderson Cooper and Stephen Colbert talk about grief a lot, and he says that, you know, grief and loss will kind of like it teaches you how to kind of love and kind of live more fully, type of thing. Like it's like where it's definitely something that. You know, some of the worst things, and certainly in my life, some of the worst things that have happened to me personally have kind of had the most kind of, you know, there's a little spiral effect where it kind of like that kind of made, you know, like certain things about me that I am the most proud of, you know, at this point in my life. And so
it gives you perspective
a little bit, you know, and so I think that this is kind of like this is the straw that kind of breaks the camel's back insofar as just like all of the things that, like, you know, it's like the writers kind of realized, like, man, we fucking put Wanda through the ringer, like in these movies, like, you know what I mean? Like even in Civil War, like she does that thing where she tries to save people, captures Crossbones' explosion and tries to get it out of the way, and like has like the inciting fucking incident, like in Civil War, and she's wrestling with that too. I mean, like, so it's so much. So like, but
think of it like the front part of her story. Like, it's so tragic. Like all this stuff happened to her, right? And then all of these events that happen, like these negative things that she does, like have some sort of negative effect. But I think what's going to happen, she's going to be at her breaking point, and Doctor Strange is going to tell her, "You have the opportunity to do so much good." And that's why I think the Mind Stone chose her. Like, she had to go through all of these things through her life. Like, the first part of her life is going to be like this bad, everything that we've seen. But going forward, she has an opportunity. Because she's top 5 powerful. Like, she can take on like pretty much anyone. You know what I mean? So I think that what we're seeing is like it's really going to suck, but it's also going to be really good for Wanda because she's going to be at that point.
So I think that's going to be kind of, you know, I've been kind of, as far as like where, like what, like as far as me predicting where things are going to go and what's happening, I've been trying to let the emotion kind of guide me, you know, and it just seems like this is about the acceptance of loss and the acceptance of grief. And so I think you're right, Kyle, insofar as like all roads are leading to Sad Town as far as like Vision, kind of like I don't think she's gonna. Don't think she's gonna be able to keep him in some capacity, but she is going to kind of rise as the Scarlet Witch, like the person that she has always kind of been in a way. You know what I mean? Like, and so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's almost like we saw that in the last episode, like her future self was extending herself to show her like the possible version of what she can become. It's fucking insane.
I think couple of trains of thought. So if you slow down the image of her actually creating the hex, she is like reaching into her chest and ripping it open, right? And it's like you can interpret it a couple ways, but like it's like just this colossal moment where it's like she is ripping her heart open as if she was, an extension of like the loss, but also as like a more literal, like she was trying to kill herself. And this was like, that was it. Like she was done. She was, doing this, just like they talked about how Bruce Banner, like there's a part of the story that we don't know with Bruce where he literally gets so sad and so depressed and so, grief stricken that he just decides to kill himself. And then he wakes up as the Hulk after, killing hundreds of people. He is literally immortal. And that's on screen MCU showing that sometimes you that happens. So I think that's an interesting take. But the other part related to Vision is Ultron. So one of the biggest things with Ultron that I have no clue how anyone would know this in the MCU is he had access to the internet, right? He had as soon as he got hold of Jarvis, he went through the internet, then made his body over in Sokovia camp, got the vibranium, all of that. But the point is, there was a point where we had to be shown that Vision blocked Ultron's access to the internet, so that when Ultron was killed, we had no doubt about it that he couldn't have escaped to another drone. Yeah, that he was definitely dead. Here's the thing. This dude, Hayward, just recreated Ultron, essentially.
Yeah.
If he has access to the internet, if he has access to the internet, if he has access to those satellites, which I still think are insane. Like the fact that we have vibranium tracking satellites is insane. And there's a story there. So the fact that, like, I don't know, I see some way that he gets demolished, that both the Visions die, but ultimately what Hayward just released into the world was Ultron 2.0, and he could live through the internet or something like that. And
his eyes are so creepy, dude. I think like the way he, like I don't know. I'm not trying to knock the actor, but his eyes, I'm always like that. No, that's a scroll. No, that's got to be nice.
Wait,
like
who?
just the guy who plays Hayward. His face is like his face is like his face is very like I want to kind of punch you because you're a dick, but also like I don't believe that's your actual face because we're in Marvel.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Does anybody else feel like that?
You throw a punch and then it's Ben Mendelsohn or whatever it is from Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Talos the scroll.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I mean,
man.
what is it? There's one. There's a great. There is a. I think the key to.
Oh, imagine we get James Spader in the next episode with the White Vision. Oh my god!
We've been saying that. We've been saying that a lot. I would love to see him. I wonder. I wonder. I mean, like the big thing you were talking. That reminded me of that awesome quote. It's a Flannery quote, I believe, that Vision says to Ultron right before he kills him, where he's like, I think he says in that cool fucking spirit, it's like, you're unbearably naive, and shit. Yeah. And then he goes, well, a thing isn't beautiful because it lasts. That's like, and it's a great line. And so I think that I feel like that is kind of been this whole thing that, like, Vision is kind of a little bit, not to go like Trek or whatever it is. I don't know if you have any Trekkies in the house or whatever, but it's a little bit of like a Data thing. Like Data is an android, wants to feel human, and this might be kind of the closest thing that we get to that and stuff. I think, I mean, but now, fucking Hayward basically, we have Vision. Fake Vision. We've been calling him Vision, like
Vision. Love it.
Like Pietro, like the Fox Pietro,
I mean,
fake Pietro.
Right there. Well, like we've been, but like we think that Vision is like, essentially, this is possibly what Ultron was this is the form that Ultron was essentially trying to take in Age of
Human
Ultron.
form,
This
yeah.
was the guy that he was wanting to come out, you know, like and stuff like that. So that's like,
and a very, very high level, like Sword is Shield sister agency. That's why it's so crazy, right?
Yeah. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, like, because Hayward's gonna try to like kind of be in control of him, right?
Well, he wants to kill Wanda. He's
right.
Made
That's
that
what I'm saying.
specific.
Like, he's gonna try to be in control of he's gonna be in control of Vision. I'm assuming in some way. I mean, like, you know, and so who do we know that's a hacker? Who do we know that's hacking? It's gonna be Darcy and Wu. Remember
yeah.
And so I think that like I don't know if we're gonna necessarily get like a, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm just, you know, like I think that could be, it's gonna be like, because I think Hayward's going to be like the dickhead at the computer, and then we're going to have the Darcy at the computer, and they're going to kind of be like battling over, like, you know, kind of trying to
like Harry Potter and Voldemort, but on computers. Okay.
kind of sort of. You know what I mean?
I love it, dude. There's just bits are flying through the air at each other in different colors.
It's probably obvious, but you actually type it out.
And then Hayward's like not going to have a nose and shit like that. It's going to be really fucking. It's going to be really gnarly. Like
there's certainly like a Dr. Frankenstein classic sort of.
Yeah.
You know, creates this monster and then he can't control it, and I wouldn't be surprised if Vision snaps Hayward's neck or something in the last episode. You know,
he's gonna turn on me. I can see
it's that classic. You know, you create a powerful monster and the monster says, "I don't need you anymore, thank you."
Yeah,
you know,
it's like, get out of here, fake Jeff Daniels, like or whatever.
They recreated him. They sent the start, which makes every decision that Hayward made more interesting because he's so happy about having that drone and missile, right?
Giddy.
That's the thing they pulled their data from, other than, you know, the schematics that they had when they you know, were evaluating Vision and his vibranium and all of his tech and stuff like that. It's going to be really interesting to see, because let's talk a little bit about this. The next episode is only going to be 50 minutes long. And I'm not knocking it, because I think that, you know, we've got 9 episodes. We're getting 9 episodes of top shelf TV. Sure. I'm happy with that. Now, this is basically like a movie trilogy, 6 hours. I'm cool with that. We would have never had this if we didn't have the Disney Plus platform. I'm not going to complain. But it's kind of like, okay, I think they're going to like be setting up a lot. Like, I don't think everything's going to get answered, right, Sam? Like, there's got to be so many different things that are going to...
Yeah.
I don't think they can resolve every single plot that us as content creators and as content absorbers of Marvel are going to be able to be like, okay, like that's exactly what I wanted.
Right.
But yeah, they're always going to leave some bits, aren't they? I mean, it's a Disney way, let alone a Marvel way. You've always got to leave some things. You've always got to put the truck from Cars 2 in the sort of Toy Story film. You know, you've always got to do that thing where they go, oh, there's a Nemo toy that's so you know. It's that
Pixar was kind of doing that stuff. They were for sure.
They're all doing it now. They're all under that Disney umbrella. But I think I still think this like Wanda redemption arc is an interesting thing that could happen. Because here's a question for all of you. Because we know that the body snatching didn't happen now. We know that she could have killed Hayward and his men if she wanted to, but she didn't. We know that it wasn't malicious. She wasn't necessarily in control of what she was doing. Yeah. You know, she's not that evil. If there was some way that she was able to unenslave all of those people and either wipe their memories or some sort of reversal of time, or they were cool with it. If there was some way that they didn't experience any trauma from that, would she be absolved of her misdeeds? Would she become that hero? Would she still be?
Well, I mean,
you know, yeah, I mean that's a great question. I think probably not. I mean, I don't think there's any way to come back from it in the sense that like unless there's a sci-fi way, unless there's a time reversal way, some way to make this, you know, a deed that she's never done before. You know, because we already had the Lagos event, she's already had her innocent people died, and we're okay with that because she's you know, the utilitarian betterment is served because she's on our side, because she's defeating bigger baddies. You know, but we've already had that with her. So this is another case where she's just you know, lost control of her powers. It's hurt people, and now we need to figure out what happens from there. I don't see her on the raft. I don't see her being put in prison. I don't see her being killed. You know, like, what do you do if a superhero that says they're good is out there and for some reason keeps enslaving people,
having like a fucking psychotic break, and
which
ends
is
up, it's very similar to that kind of conundrum that they have with Professor X and Logan.
Yes.
where he's kind of losing his faculties, and that's why he needs to take his medicine and stuff like that. And that is, and that's a really interesting kind of bent to take on it. I mean, like,
well, sorry to interrupt you, but that's a great point there, because like one of the things that I brought up when we were introduced to Wiccan is that he's hearing these voices in his head, right? And when I heard that, I was like, this is like a detriment to him. In the MCU, when a new person gets super speed, they are just gods, right? They'll just run through and destroy everything that opposes them. Right. In the X-Men, when someone gets some kind of power, it haunts them. It is the worst thing ever, to the point where they needed a school to teach them how to hone their abilities. I think Wiccan, and an extension, Wanda, now what we're seeing with her, a possibility is she goes to school. That she goes and has
Strange.
With Doctor Strange, with anybody, but understands how to control these powers.
Wanda School Musical.
Wanda School Musical. Yeah.
Wanda School Musical.
Love it. So I think there's possibility for her not to have to kind of be absolved, but at the same time, how do you go from what you've done to being accepted
Wiccan
in the world?
becomes the next Sorcerer Supreme in the comics. I don't know if Billy and Tommy are going to survive, because that's been a pretty interesting thing. Because if they are going the House of M route, which is like they were shards of Mephisto's soul, someone brought up, they could have got. Wanda could have got actually pregnant by the bunny, and that person was transmuting, and that's actually Mephisto.
Jesus.
Yeah, and the bunny is actually Mephisto.
Like rabbits.
Yeah, I think that's a little out there, but the whole shards of Mephisto's soul being impregnated with magic.
I think there could be. I think what we'll probably get. I think the kind of the Mephisto thing. Like, I don't think it's going to be a grand reveal, and I think that we've kind of been doing a bit of a brand warging into the pummel of ice in season 7, like kind of bit, like where we're really going for it. And because like Mephisto would be a fucking awesome character to get into, I do think that but I also think that Agatha is going to be is going to kind of get the Loki treatment. I think that I don't think that Agatha is going to be killed. I think they're going to kind of keep her around because she's too much fun, and Catherine Hahn has kind of proven herself as being like a big fan favorite. But I think we're going to possibly get kind of like how we would at the end, like the old school, like in the first ring of the MCU, like where you'd wait until the end of the credits, and then the camera pulls back and it's Thor's hammer, and it's just like it's a little thing. Like I just don't think that we're going to literally have like a guy, a fella or girl, whatever, but like walk on and be like, I'm Mephisto and I'm here to fuck your shit up or whatever.
So we got it right here, by the way, everyone. That's a hype train. Sean is predicting the post-credit scene to show whoever Agatha is working with.
If we get it, if they want to put some connective tissue on that, because the way, at least how I think about it, because I'm wondering what happens to the kids. And how do the kids relate in this story? Like, and what the fuck are the fucking kids? Like, do you know what I'm saying? I mean, or did she kind of do a similar thing with Vision? It kind of seems like she did. I mean, like
she could have done the same thing with Pietro, even maybe.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of like you were saying, like there's a lot of threads to pick up. Like, it's just like, is this guy, like, are they just, because people have been also like, I think people have been bringing up what is it, like who's Dottie gonna end up being or whatever it is, and I'm just like, and
which was a question from Mara earlier, which we
right. Oh well, we can kind of get into it.
Let's just do it now. Just go on.
Sorry, now that I brought it up, no, but like it kind of this is another thing that this show is also about. Like it is about lore, and it is about kind of the broader universe. It is also just about television. Yeah. And it's also like, and I just think that we got some Buffy fans on the fucking in the house. And they just wanted to have that actress who was a big presence in Buffy to come on.
Oh, yeah.
Just the same way that like nobody's fucking asking who Kitty from that 70s show is, because we kind of know that she's like a warm and cuddly TV blanket, like that, because the show is about TV. And I think that it's kind of interesting to try to figure out like what are kind of like what is casting that is kind of towards like kind of the kid, like you were talking like a kitschy at like TV aspect of this show, and then like what is actually going to spin out and kind of be active within the within the Marvel universe and stuff. I think that Dottie's just going to be. I think she's just like. I
think she's observing something for Doctor Strange because of the flowers. Because the flowers in Agatha's yard are purple. The ones in Wanda's yard are red, and then she's cutting yellow flowers, and she's like. And remember, Agatha singled her out as being like someone that Wanda shouldn't talk to.
Oh, sure.
I think that was kind of like a. We think that Dottie might be in line with some sort of, nefarious.
That could be something. That could.
Me and Chris have got into this. He thinks she's working with
I mean, like it could be something. I mean, like dude, that means a lot more. Like I was scrolling through the other day, like, dude, Al Pacino is showing up. He's playing the devil as AKA Mephisto, whatever, and he's gonna be hoo-hawing all over the fucking place. And I'm just like, dude, like, come on, man. Like, like, we don't even know. Like, people have been saying, like, we're getting Reed Richards and John Krasinski, and it's like, we don't even know if he's put pen to paper yet. So I think that, but I think that some of the casting has kind of been just like we're this is a love letter to TV, and I think that there's some of that might be in there. I am a big like who the fuck is Ralph guy though. I still haven't quite, even though Hex, you said before, like you don't think it's going to amount to anything. It could just be a TV trope because that happens all the time where they were just like just the neighbor. Just like rags on their, it's like the guy.
Yeah, we never meet the
hacky version, right? Exactly. Yeah. Like the hacky version is like, my ex-wife.
Yeah, and she's kind of playing like the version of like Al in Home Improvement, where she's like, the person that's giving their neighbor advice and shit.
Oh my God, no, we have that, but it's just like we have Mephisto, but he's just behind like.
He's like,
I would love for another wall break, and it's just like the person that Agatha was talking to. Well, it was just that it was Mephisto with a flip phone.
Oh, that would be so kill. No, I do think that if we rock the Mephisto tease, I think it'll be way towards the end of it. Like I don't think
he's showing up in Phase 4 at some point. It just might not be WandaVision.
I think he's showing up in the extra episode, the behind the scenes making of. I think they're gonna retcon. They're gonna do like a making of, but then it was Agatha all along.
So you want to know how we were able to shoot on location? We have this giant LED screen we also use for the Mandalorian, whatever.
Can you brought up a great point though, like as far as performances go. Catherine Hannah, she's been fantastic as Agatha and Agnes. And earlier you brought up Paul Bettany, who's been like criminally underrated. We just never, and that's why WandaVision I think is so great, because we actually get a chance to see the performances from people like Elizabeth Olsen, who's going to win an Emmy now. She's going to win an Emmy. I don't think there's no way she doesn't win an award for this. I think there's zero chance.
I think there's going to be. I think that there's still like some Emmy stuff. It's very similar to the Netflix thing. Like we don't want to give you guys an Oscar just yet because there's still like a little bit. But Disney is big enough and has enough clout and muscle.
The Mandalorian got nominated, dude, for season 1.
I think it's going to happen. And also, I mean, like Liz is an Oscar-nominated actress. I mean, like she's already there's a tremendous movie called, I think it's Marcy May, Maggie Marlene. I think I might be butchering that up, but just look up her IMDb. It's a harrowing movie, and I apologize in advance, but it's really tremendous. And this is easily the first time that she's kind of been able to. That her and Paul Bettany have kind of been able to really fully spread their wings.
Like you said, we got like 10 minutes of them or something. Like actually,
10 minutes. Well, of the two of them, 10 minutes of screen time. I'm sure there was like a little bit more either or, but just like, I just thought that was crazy. It was just nuts. Even though like over time, you kind of, you sort of fill in the blanks a little bit, like as a viewer, like you're like, oh, they've clearly been hanging out and they're making breakfast now and stuff and like or whatever the fuck they were doing in Civil War. But so do we think is Strange rolling in to battle? Like is he coming in to like maybe like push a broom and kind of clean up things? Like do we think that we're getting that? Do you think they're going to go that level, or do you think they're going to keep it local within the story? Like, it's going to be Vision versus Fission. It's going to be Agatha versus Wanda. It's going to be Hayward versus Darcy, and it's going to be Monica versus Pietro. Kind of. It's sort of like they always
Battle Royale.
They sort of always sort of tear them up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
a little bit. You know, and so
it could scale as the episode goes.
I
Is
think
what you're
so,
saying?
sort of, yeah. I mean, like, you know, right? It's like we got to fight the Ewoks on Endor, and we also got to fight Darth Vader in the Death Star. And, you know, I mean, like, they tear them a little bit in some way, and so, like, I think that I don't know, like, is Strange going to come in and sort of kind of wipe the slate clean? I mean, he does have the Time Stone.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the fucking Time Stone.
He did.
Not anymore.
Does
he not? Wait, does it? Is that?
Remember,
They're done so.
done. Remember
They brought him back to their
and
original
Steve,
timeline.
and Steve brought him back after he reversed everything.
Yeah.
So he does. Okay, so he doesn't have.
But that makes the Infinity Stones interesting in the future, though.
Yeah, that was something that I was thinking of too, because like, man, if that would be such a great way to get Wanda out of this colossal fuck up is just Doctor Strange comes in and just reverses everything. Yeah.
I mean, so they can't do it. But again, like, we're talking about like rewriting reality and stuff like that. I mean, like,
Actually, Sean, let's just ask this question to the panel and the chat. Everybody in chat, Doctor Strange, 1 for yes, he shows up, 2 for no. And also, I want to get all the panel.
Let's see him come through.
Yeah, how is it? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Go ahead.
So so I think that Doctor Strange will be a part of this story and it relates to Wanda's story in a big way. And we kind of know that with Doctor Strange 2 involving him or involving her. Right. But I think there is that chance that you talked about before, Sean, where it is just like at the final credits. He comes in and is like, what was she doing? Like, why did she do this? Like,
who made all this goddamn mess? His Smaug voice and shit. He's all pissed off. And everything.
There's a big chance that he's in this, but at the same time, I think it could also just be a post-credit scene where he comes in to maybe pick up the pieces. But at the same time, there's so much of their stories that relate. Even Agatha and the Ancient One, I genuinely believe that their school of magic, like, they're both of them centuries old. Both of them look like they're 40, right? Like,
right,
dude. And we know that she reached out to the Dark Dimension. There's a case that Agatha could be working with the Dark Dimension as well.
Right. Magic,
yeah, man, I think their story intertwines in some kind of way, and that would be incredible. So, all that to say, maybe.
Well, a 1.5.
What do you think, Sam? Doctor Strange?
Well, first of all, I think it's all about Norm. I think Norm's a key here. I'm putting my cards on the table now. Now, if Strange does turn up, I'm predicting it'll be a post-credit scene. It'll be this is our next big project with these characters kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like the the things that matter to us emotionally right now are all kind of in play at this point. Yeah. I think that if he'll be a Deus Ex Strangia, or I don't know how the fuck. He could come in just to kind of like turn the tides and then maybe kind of do something or whatever. Like, I don't think that he's. I mean, unless they pull a fucking Ahsoka and Mandalorian, they're just like, yeah, you thought we were going to wait for it? Nope. She's showing up like right in the fucking, you know what I mean? Like in the beginning of the episode. I don't know exactly. He'll either kind of be like a timeout guy, like, all right, all you motherfuckers quit fucking around. Like he's going to show up and kind of stop the fight, or like Sam, like I think both of y'all said, like a kind of a post-credit sequence,
and I think I do want to change my answer. I think it makes more sense as post-credit, simply because like what story are they actually telling us if Doctor Strange comes in and saves everything?
He's the cameraman. He's the cameraman.
We got him, boys. We got Hax to say yes and change his answer. We got him.
That's who Vision was talking to, because he's like, oh, dude, bro, I know. Like, I'm getting interviewed by like my old fucking crime fighting buddy, like awesome, whatever. No,
the end says, please stand by for Doctor Strange.
Totally. So I think because like if he comes in and saves the day, then it's like they built this whole thing between Monica and Wanda and like these characters that we should now care about. And if Doctor Strange comes in and saves the day, then I don't think it sends the best message.
It's agency away from our heroes. It's agency away from our principal characters. I do think that kind of the cards that are left on the table we're gonna watch that hand kind of be played. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna. I feel like that's what's gonna happen. And then and also just it would be to have Strange come in and save her, etc. So forth. Like I think that I want to see Wanda. If we do write this thing, if we do pull some like kind of time fuckery, some reality fuckery, we try to right this wrong, because I don't think that that's lost on them. I think that we're watching these people. They're crying, like they've been communicating to us that these people are like having a hard time, and that she's kind of responsible in some way for it. I do feel like she's going to right that wrong, and she's going to do it on her own. She's going to finally have a bit more agency within her own story and within the trajectory of her life, I think. Yeah. So I mean, like,
or we could get something really crazy where this is like some huge therapy session, and Doctor Strange actually works with Agatha. Oh, and Agatha is the mentor like she was to her in the comics, and that's another twist.
Yeah, I mean, there's a genuine case. Like the first thing, a buddy of mine who's like a diligent comic book reader reached out to me after episode 8 and was like, "Man, I really don't think Agatha's the bad guy here." And you know, rewatching it, I can definitely understand that. I think there's like, this like point where she never came there explicitly to steal the magic or do anything evil. She came as like explicitly investigating why so many spells were exploded at once. And if she's now viewing Wanda as this colossal threat, this user of chaos magic, she could be taking the stance that, hey, like our reality will die, like the universal time stream will be destroyed, or our reality will be destroyed by threats far bigger than we are if we don't stop you right now. Like she could, from her perspective, be very well trying to save her reality, and as such, she needs to kill Wanda before she kills everybody else. Like
she said, that in the one in the coven, that fucking sick ass coven scene, which again, like they're bringing in like these horror elements. Like we watched, like they turned them into oogity boogity skeleton people like at the end of it, which I thought was great. But so like great. What did she say? She's like, I can be good, and it's like it's one of those things where you're like, is she trying to play her mom, or is she legit? It's I like that it's gray. I do like, because there was but again, there was also like a couple other kind of knowing, rueful glances where she was pulling like a Joker, like I wanted you to lock me up in fucking prison. This was all part of the plan. You know what I mean? Like that's what she was fucking doing. I mean, so it's hard to know. I do think that we have not fully been kind of like.
We need another flashback, is what you're saying.
Her intentions. Yeah. I think that we could still learn some stuff. I do think that she's the primary.
We have to get some more insight into this.
To be fair, like I do think that she is the primary antagonist of this story. Like I said, it might be like a bit of a Loki thing. Like there might be some gray area, and we can continue on.
She did strangle those two kids though with.
Oh no! I mean, like, I'm
like dogs.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's the prime. I mean, like, no. She's killing puppies. She's fucking strangling fucking kids.
Actually, that's a good point. She's evil.
I mean, like, I think that
dude, she killed Sparky.
Yeah,
Sparky was is the big villain of the
The kids. I don't care about the kids. She killed the dog.
No, but like. It's the same thing. Like we all kind of warmed to Loki after he basically created. He created like 15 9/11s like in a single day or something.
God.
I mean, that's what he did. So we do this, and again, that is also just very comic booky. Just like how many times has like how many times have like fucking characters gone completely rogue, and then we kind of like we forgive them, and then they're back at it again, or whatever it is, and so I think that Agatha, we're gonna keep her around. She's too good. I hope so. Yeah. We're getting some Loki. I feel like we're getting some Loki treatment with her, but
I think we're gonna get like a Dark Avengers. We're going to have the Masters of the Mystic Arts and kind of Doctor Strange explored more. So we're going to get kind of like the good sorcerers group. I think we're going to get like a bad sorcerers group. Like Baron Mordo could be someone she's connected to.
Oh, I mean, because he wants to get rid of all the sorcerers.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. Yeah, Mordo, like 100%. The post-credit scene of Doctor Strange shows him like legitimately just taking this guy's magic away for no reason. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to live peacefully, having magic to, keep me able to walk. And Mordu just has such a problem with that. He's like, no, you get to be crippled. That's it. There's no way around that.
Right.
And so, but again, his whole point is that it's getting to the natural order. It's getting to, what they should be doing and what sorcerers and sorceresses should be doing. So I think 100% they could align. Agatha and Mordu could align.
Maybe he wants Agatha to drain her chaos magic. That would be interesting.
So yes, in the sense
dangerous,
that
right? She's created these big events. Yeah.
Do we think that Agatha's going to try? Does she want to elicit a fight so she can pull? She can reverse.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Do you think she wants to do that? I think she wants to do that.
So that's what I think. I think once we get that moment, we're going to know exactly who Agatha is, because they built that first scene where we see her absorb these powers, and it's like, oh, like that's bad. She's doing bad there, right?
Yeah.
But it shapes it as if like the implication is Wanda's going to try this. She's antagonizing her to the middle of the street. She's pulling these powers, and we know that she probably doesn't need to be afraid because she can absorb those powers. But at the same time, maybe it's all a facade. Maybe this is going to be the moment where it's like, you are just the biggest threat. Wanda, we got to take you out.
Yeah, I mean, it's or it's going to be. It could possibly be a kind of like a Raiders of the Lost Ark type thing, like where you're trying to I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to pull the reverse thing. I'm going to fucking charge up my shit, and I'm going to be fucking like I'm going to be the Scarlet Witch now, and like you know what I mean. Like, and I think that
I'm the captain now.
Yeah, exactly. Right. There we go. Absolutely. Look in my eyes. Like no, but then, but then it could come back once she finally does it. It's that classic thing. Like I'm trying to harness this is I finally drained the last dame that I haven't been able to do. You know what I mean? Like and like her. I don't think that anybody's head is going to explode in a Marvel Disney Plus show, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But
yeah, I mean, we saw Thanos be decapitated. Like
that's
they
true.
didn't shy away from it. Like they didn't like on all the other movies. They like these big like execution moments. They just always turn. But yeah, that was such a shocking scene.
Most of the time they're like Austin powering that shit. Like where they're obscuring it with like like one piece of the set or something.
Happens in the background.
I want to go watch more Marvel movies now. Now I want to go back and like see if like I missed anything.
Totally, man. Totally.
Someone says that Boston says that it'll be too much power and she'll die. I like the idea. I love the idea that Agatha's just like, this is it. I set up this trap because we know she's fluent in traps. So that's her whole thing. She puts this together. They're in the middle of the street. She starts trying to absorb Wanda's magic, and then she just dies. And then the bigger threat is now what they've done in or what White Vision is, and the Colossus.
So she dies like Thanos in the first 5 minutes.
Nothing.
Oh
like,
my god!
Yeah.
How would you guys feel about that? How would you feel, Sam?
I'd be sad to see her go.
Oh, yeah.
I'd sad to see her go, but I think that reversal is in the cards. I mean, like there's literal like kind of meat on the bone, like that we've seen of her doing that, and like I mean she fucking sucked her own mother dry. Wow, that sounds weird. But she did. She did. Like she did. Yeah, she literally did.
She ripped her whole coven.
I think that. Yeah, I mean, I think that that's a very possible thing that happens. I mean, like I would be sad because I think that there's a lot of potential with her, but I do think that like that keeping her as like as like kind of the central antagonist, because Vision is he's like the heavy. He's like the second. I don't know. I'm just trying to think about who's like, like the big guy that Zod brought with him, like him and like Ursa or whatever it is. Like there's like, that's kind of what Vision is. Like he's just like a big kind of mechanized monster. If he has James Spader's voice, I will literally poop my pants on camera. I mean, it's going to be, that would be a really nice, interesting touch, but I don't know. It's hard to say.
I don't think any of us want to see that, though, Sean.
Thank God we don't have Smell-O-Vision on fucking YouTube, so thank God. You know what I mean? Like,
Speaking of vision, we don't have smell-o-vision. Thank God.
Smell-o-vision.
Not yet.
No, but I do think that I think that they're going to keep it mostly localized. I think they'll keep her around. Like that would be so savage to do it like in the first 5. Man, that would be. I mean, it'd be surprising. I'll give him that. I would be like, what is gonna happen? I mean, like you would definitely get me. You get the noodle working for sure if you did that.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, Boston's saying there were shots of Spader filming. Were there?
No, really?
I don't know about that, Boston.
I did see if you look up. Oh, I posted on Twitter, but I think if you look up the cast for this last episode or something, it does show James Spader. But
I think that's just previously on things.
Yeah, and I also think you can edit those, or you can suggest Google those updates on IMDb.
Oh, no shit.
Through IMDb,
really?
I think. Yeah. So it's you can manipulate that to make it look like anybody's going to be on the show. When
we think, or it's kind of like the Wikipedia like kind of effect or whatever it is, where people just come edit stuff. But also I do think we can thank Crispin Glover and Back to the Future 2 for this, where if the visage or the like the work of a actor is used in any form on like a syndicated television, because they had a couple. I think they had like a spec or 2. I think of Ultron. I remember kind of seeing at some point. I think
that's a good point. That's a really good point.
So that might be it. Like that might be where that comes from. Not to be sitting here with my fucking actually But I think that's what that might be. So.
Oh yeah, that's a great theory. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting to the nitty gritty here, and I want to get you guys for some final predictions. If you had to make a prediction for the WandaVision finale, and you had one WandaVision prediction and one thing you're most looking forward to. I'm going to start with you, Sam. What do you have a theory prediction, and what are you most excited about?
Okay, so my theory prediction is this is a bit left of field. I think it may have been Agatha all along.
I like that. I haven't heard that.
I don't know. It's been in my head for a while. I don't know why. It's just been sort of going round and round. No. Oh, and the other jokey answer would be I'm still waiting to see when Disney acquire The Boys, because Pietro has given me that the full on vibes for sort of creepy fake superhero. I think my prediction is just going to be as I said before. I think we're going to get some sort of attempt at a redemption arc for Wanda, enough that we can kind of love her as a faulty sort of flawed character. And I think, but I don't know what's going to happen with Vision and Fission. I think that's going to be a really interesting. I hope they merge. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Or that'd be it'd be like one of those things where he just he goes like, you have a real physical body, but I have like a soul, kind of in a way, more of a soul than you fucking do.
But him going into the White Vision, meaning his memories won't be there, so the transfer.
And that could be something.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like something.
Yeah, the memories. He doesn't have the memomies now anyway. But it does represent more of like that soul. Like this is an intimate person that has the most accurate perception of who he was as a person. Like that then merge with the real physical body again. Totally see it.
I think Wanda would want him to exist than not exist. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and we even know it's possible. Like we saw that when they did like a similar effect when Ultron was talking to Vision. Like they had that mind meld moment where it's like, okay, I now understand his plans. Equally, when Wanda did it to Ultron, and it was like, I now see you don't just want to destroy the Avengers. You want to destroy the entirety of humanity. So I totally see that being possible.
Yeah.
Oh man. Best case scenario, I think.
Let's go with you next then, Hax. A theory, prediction for the finale, and thing you want to see the most.
I want to see a happy ending with lots of tears and good character development that makes me excited for the rest of the Phase 4. And my prediction is I don't know, everything we've talked about. Vision.
Everything. Fuck it.
Yeah. I take all the theories.
Talk about it's like
Norm. It's Norm. It's all about Norm.
We have our prediction smoothie that we've been blending for an hour. No, but I'm with you.
That's not a blender sound. Why did I just do that?
Oh my god! No, okay. One thing I want to. This is going to be the True Detective season 1 of the MCU, as in it is going to be a really fucking high watermark that's going to kind of stand alone, and it's going to be really hard to kind of get to those reaches again. But it's going to. It's I don't know, or it's just going to be the Iron Man of this kind of phase of storytelling. Of this,
I think Loki's going to be as good.
Serialized. Well, there you go. I mean, Loki's going to be fucking fun as shit. Like they can do some really cool. That's going to be where we're going to get like kind of wiggity with it again. Kind of while we have fun with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But so I'm thinking. Wanda, yeah, this is the one thing I think that we're going. I think that Pietro is going to possibly, because Marvel is really good about kind of just very lightly kind of spoon feeding us little by little and eventually, like, because they don't hit us with everything at once, like, and no shade to fucking DC, but like they don't put the apple before the cart as far as their concepts and stuff, and they've been kind of dancing around the multiverse thing. They had that, I think, a little bit in Spider-Man: Homecoming, where we're like they talked about that's like the first time.
Mysterio literally lied about it. Yeah,
even the multiverse. I'm sorry, even the quantum verse in Ant-Man.
Exactly, right.
That was a huge.
They've been kind of speaking these things, but I do think that maybe possible post-credit scene is going to involve Pietro and where they got him. Possibly that's how they. Because like, why are they taking the guy from newly fucking acquired X-Men universe?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, that's the one point.
Then we maybe get some like Fassbender, Magneto, Professor X.
I wouldn't mind. I honestly woun't mind it. I thought that those guys were fucking fantastic in those roles. Honestly, giving the mammoth shoes that they had to fill in, the fact that they can. But that's why you get McAvoy and that's why you get Fassbender to do that.
But now they're reacquired, though, right? Marvel has started reacquiring all these IPs under the one thing.
Fox is in this weird They're in the. Well, I think everything on the Fox roster is in this weird thing where they're in the minor leagues and they got to get called up to the majors and shit. So like we got, you know what I mean? So like I think we got to wait and see. But I do think that this is I think that possible close to the end, maybe like, because they typically do two, like they'll do like 2 post-credit scenes, like a mid post-credit scene and then a post-credit scene.
A bomb.
So one of them I feel like might involve Pietro, and first time where we really explicitly look into multiverse shit. And I just think that the kind of the trajectory of where we know that Wanda's story is kind of going, or at least partially is going, is into Multiverse of Madness. I think that would be a good, fun tease to kind of explicitly say, like, yeah, we popped over to the Fox Marvel universe and we plucked out the better Quicksilver. Like,
I would also
no shade.
Sweet dream. We get another sweet dreams moment. Sweet dreams moment with like him coming.
Man, I mean, like,
realities or some shit.
I think that's my big tinfoil hat prediction. Is that I do think that they will use Pietro as a way to really explicitly kind of show and demonstrate a multiverse type of thing, and then
it'd be so cool. Professor X sent him.
Oh my god! Jesus!
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, and then I just, as long as, however it goes, if they got to go to Sad Town, if she's got to give him up again, you know, whatever it was, as long as if we are going to kind of, you know, sci-fi magic retcon Wanda's story and make it okay, I hope that she's the one that does it, and she's the one that is kind of taking control and agency over that. Like, I mean, maybe she could get some help from Strange, but I hope that she kind of is able to kind of make herself whole again, because she keeps talking about how empty she feels, how this nothingness. I want that to kind of be filled with a sense of purpose, and as long as they can figure out a way to end it there, it'll be one of the better kind of emotional arcs that MCU has ever put together, ever. Like bar fucking none.
I think that last episode was top 10 things they've put in.
It was so good. It was so fucking good. Yeah.
I think it was that good. Chris, you have something to say?
Yeah, just one last note on Pietro. So there's like a couple possibilities. Like, I think is either the showrunners just messing with us, knowing that we would lose our minds over
Those
this.
fucking bastards.
If they did that, I would be shocked. I could see them doing it just because, like, it is, it's not explicitly something that they would need to do. Like, it doesn't break any rules.
Right.
It would just be like crazy for them to mess with us like that. Or it is genuinely, Quicksilver from another reality, which I think would be I think that would be the perfect way to do it, is like compartmentalize all of these different realities, have the X-Men reality, Fantastic Four, and all of that, Spider-Man's Spider-Verse, like all of that be the same thing, but in their respective realities. But so that could be the theoretical Quicksilver from that X-Men reality, or it could be the Evan Peters, like the person that, like in this reality, like this could be the Evan Peters that just exists in that physical location.
The actor?
Right? Like, yeah, like, no.
Well,
Like,
an actual cast person from Westview?
Yeah,
Someone
like,
from Westview? Oh my god.
Literally, Evan Peters was taking like a road trip and he just decided to get gas in Westview, and she's like, "Oh, we could use it."
Yes, like it was literally.
So he's
just, like,
actually someone who lives in Westview.
Right.
well, maybe, but
Yeah, that would be
this,
crazy.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't mean to derail it.
No, you're good. But like again, in this universe, like he's just a regular guy. Like he doesn't have superpowers. Like Professor Xavier is just like a teacher, like just these crazy things that could really show the complexity of the multiverse. How
They're not from Earth 616,
different.
but in this one, he's like just
Yeah,
a dude driving his car, trying to go to like Tim Hortons or something.
Yeah, in Earth 616. Yeah, in Earth 616, he's just chilling, and actually like
I'm just
you.
trying to get a fucking coffee in a shape over at Bob's Big Boy. Like they don't have one in the county that I got my townhouse in, or whatever the fuck it was. No, and I do think that whole them like kind of really textually kind of like exploring a little bit of the multiverse that gets us to Multiverse of Madness, and then I think that's going to really explain it, and that'll be the primer for just the bouquet of fucking insanity that the Spider-Man movie is going to be, because the Spider-Man movie is going to be insane. Like
I'm so sad that like that Disney doesn't already own them, doesn't own the Spider-Man IP again. Because like again, I love the first Spider-Man movies. One of my favorite. They were my introduction to superheroes at all. Right. Except for the third movie, all of them are so good and get way too much hate. But but again, to see those characters and those heroes, and even the second Spider-Man set of movies, like not bad movies at all, but all of them coming together to make an actual story that makes sense, and how like they could not just be retconning and redoing the same thing over and over, but have them all work together.
In different
it's just magic.
Suits. Oh yeah.
Just make sure you get some of that crew who helped work on fucking Into the Spider-Verse, because that was a movie that had to do it kind of all in one film. Yes. And
they're doing number 2 as well.
Right. But it worked. I was shocked at how well that movie worked. And so hopefully with enough setup and kind of like them kind of, that's one thing that Marvel is really good at. Like they just kind of bring you along and stuff. And so, and I think that, I think we're gonna get there. I think that's good. This is a little bit of a stepping stone to Multiverse of Madness, and Multiverse of Madness is gonna hand the baton off to Spider-Man 3, and then it's just gonna be ridiculous.
Honestly, like Spider-Verse, like they had Spider-Pig in the show, as if that wasn't like the craziest, most insane thing to do, and it worked, and it wasn't a big deal. Like it was just another character that we weren't upset by or triggered by anything. It was just a cool character.
Nicolas Cage was in that movie.
Yes,
and it didn't derail it. In fact, it like enhanced it. Like that's how. Yeah. So like I think that was. I think they definitely like kind of. They were at the restaurant, like the MCU people, and they were looking at the menu, and then they just looked over it into the Spider-Verse. It's like, okay, let's get a little bit of that going. Whatever that is on the menu, let's get that over here.
By the way, WandaVision is kicking off Marvel Phase 4, so what a better way to do all the multiverse stuff. Is. And since it's kicking off Phase 4, my prediction is we're getting one Avenger and one big bad that isn't Agatha, because Marvel does things big. Okay. Yeah. And I know some people, the finale will probably be disappointing for some of us theory crafters, but it's been so good. Like, I mean, really, it's been like 9.5 out of 10 good. Like, it's part of
the fun of it, man. It's part of it's why I love watching your shit, Kyle. It's because it's like, I'm like, I didn't think about it that way. And it's like the fact that it's the same thing that since we were kids, that it elicits our things in our imagination and things that we want to see, and like and that's good, you know. So no, I love the theory craft. I mean, like, do I think it gets crazy? Absolutely. Do I kind of love it? Yes, I do. You know what I mean?
Just like Boston's new donation.
Oh, sure. Hell yeah. Ooh.
Explain Pietro's super speed. That's another video that they're going to have to make, Boston. I mean, there's going to be so many things they're going to have to talk about after the finale. It's going to be crazy.
They're going to have to do it a little bit because is that Agatha? Agatha knows about Pietro and she knows that he's super fast. So she can literally move a body that fat. You know what I mean? Like and I'm sure they're going to kind of hand wave it away a little bit, but I would be interested that lends itself to her going, I got to get a guy whose like legs won't explode if I move him this fast. You know what I'm saying? Like
he was doing the leg press at the gym and she was like, that one.
It was pretty good. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Or either that or it's like, or we'd be having the fucking like the opening of season 1 of The Boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's one of the reasons where I think it has to be, you know, the X-Men Quicksilver, you know, because like we do see that. But again, I think they could also just write it off as in, you know, what they've already described, where it's like her perception. She's like so, you know, broken that she is seeing these things. She's willing to accept that, you know, they're moving faster than the speed of sound or whatever. But, you know, at the same time, I think it's Quicksilver from X-Men, just because of stuff like that.
They put him at the end. They put him at the end of the fucking episode as like a big reveal. They knew. They knew what they were fucking doing.
Yeah, I think we're getting a couple big reveals. Like Dottie Jones was just mentioned in chat. Dottie Jones being Jones from the comics. Her, you know, Arcana, Master of the Mystic Arts, Squadron Supreme.
It could be fun.
We still haven't got the aerospace engineer. I don't know if that's going to turn out to be a big thing. I don't think we're getting Reed Richards. Like that's just another too big of a reveal for them to do.
I think the best we're going to get is a Skrull, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for a Skrull. Yeah, just because like there's a lot of references to space and stuff like that, where I think it could, you know, and Monica's story itself like is such a cornerstone of her story. Is her positive relationship with the Skrulls. You know, so I think it's possible through that, and maybe not more though. But there was a comment earlier about like the this could all be a dream. I think we talked about or the scroll technology, but like Captain Marvel, like the whole thing, they had the technology to go into her thoughts and to see stuff that she couldn't even see, that she was suppressing. You know, so in that sense, I think there could be an integration there as well.
The high evolutionary stuff, they could be exploring that.
If they were going to do that, then that would also kind of that would help with like the whole like she sees somebody who's not. It's like when you see somebody in a dream who looks like them, but a person that you know, but it also doesn't look like them.
Yeah.
You know what
John
I mean?
Boyega was teased to be Blue Marvel. Apparently, he's been auditioning. He's rumored to be. I don't know. That's one of those leaks out there. I haven't discussed them too much because I don't want to take too much credence in those, and I just kind of want to talk about how great the show has been. But sorry, Sam, go ahead.
The other thing, WandaVision season 2, yay or nay? There's been some chat on. There's been some stuff online.
I'll tell you this though. I mean,
you know, maybe down the road they can do another comic storyline, like with if Vision survives. I think they could totally do like a different, like it won't be called WandaVision, but like another story with Scarlet
Hulk Vision.
Hulk Vision.
But I think like Wanda's story is going to continue in Multiverse of Madness. She might even get her own movie like later on in Phase 4, Phase 5 or something. But I think Falcon and Winter Soldier isn't getting a second season. WandaVision isn't rumored to get that. Neither is Loki. It's like they're telling these stories over 6 episodes, 6-7 hours. It's like a movie trilogy for these characters that we've never got to see at the movie.
It was almost like it's like, listen, I know you're looking at a fucking tennis ball, and we're telling you that this giant fucking purple monster with like a really weird like chin and shit is like barking at you, and he talks like the guy from Goonies. But the thing is that we're gonna have this show, this carrot that we're dangling at the end of it, that's gonna really get into some interesting territory. And I think that I think that's partly what it is. I like the idea. I would love it if there was like a little bit of finality. I'll say this: season 2 is on the table if Vision survives in some way. I think it's on the table. I don't think that they're planning for it, but given how popular this show has become, and very not that I thought that it was going to do bad, but it's done so much better and it's been so much more engaging than I had any.
Yeah. I can see them doing it 4 or 5 years from now. They pick up,
give it a little time.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And a bunch of movies have come up. They've appeared in 2 or 3 movies. And now it's time to explore their story again together. They sort of go the Sherlock route, kind of because Sherlock was always kind of like that, where it's just we're not going to do this every season, and we're only going to do 3-4 episodes a season, and they're going to be mini movies essentially. So I don't know. I mean, if he survives, it's definitely in the cards. If he doesn't, then I would like to sort of close the book, at least on this part, and have Wanda be a bigger player kind of within the MCU, because now she's the star, you know what I mean? She's you put her front and center in that fucking lineup, in all the movies.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of closing the book, I want to close the book with a question to you guys. Does Vision survive? So since we were just talking about that, Sean, because Sam, you said you would like to see him merging. I said we're going to see the surviving of Vision through with his memories are gone. So there's going to be a fusion of the 2. Mm-hmm. Sam, you think they're going to merge? Did you say his consciousness will be there or not? I can't remember what you said.
I said I'd like to see the merge. When we're saying will Vision be there, what we're really saying is will the consciousness of Vision that we know be there, because Vision isn't Vision. Vision's just a new character essentially.
Will the real Vision please stand up? That's.
No. So and chat, feel free to chime in this as well.
That would be fun if they did try to do a merge, but then he goes we got to close the hex down, and if he leaves the hex, or if the hex goes, he literally falls apart. We saw that in the other thing. So maybe it's by merging. He goes if I merge, that could be something. Okay, I think no. I think that there's going to be some whether or not he literally dies, or he literally kind of dissolves with the hex, or he is they kind of do a memory wipe and he's just not the same thing anymore. I do think that he's going bye-bye. I just think that all kind of emotional roads sort of lead there for Wanda.
To move on,
to move on, to put it all behind her, and to become the Scarlet Witch, which and again, that was a big fucking mic drop moment. They said the thing. Now we got to wait until they say fucking Venus and shit, or whatever. And so but I do think
it's like that Leonardo DiCaprio smoking a cigarette, pointing.
Yeah, right. That's the thing, right? Yeah, totally. No, but the I just, in some fashion, I do feel like Vision's story is coming to an end. It goes back to that quote, a thing isn't beautiful because it lasts. And I think that was kind of his big kind of marquee kind of entrance in a way of being born, and now we kind of get to really see the end of it. I think that that
quote is so powerful. He really says so many powerful
things.
He does.
All the best.
He's a true visionary. Yeah.
He's envisioned quite a lot. Here we go.
Oh my god! We see, we obviously have some foreigner fans in the writers' room because we have double vision now. Ooh, no foreigner fans in the audience.
That white vision gave me cataracts.
Right.
So Sean saying Vision will be Vijoff.
Well done.
Click.
Well done.
No, but
that's the end.
That one deserves a clap.
Right. No, the
clap, maybe.
But yeah, I think the Vision in some form is going away, and I think that Wanda's moving on. So I think that Vision's going. I do.
Okay, and
I a big part of the show has been Wanda acknowledging her truth, and this has been something that's been brought up 3 times now. It's what is your truth and your perception of reality, and what has happened to you and who you are. And I think that's a big grand idea that Disney might be running with, where, she understands that you can't reanimate things, that you can't bring, the dead back from the dead. In some capacity, she understands that when she's talking to her children. And, so I think it might be, that's what it might be all about, is acceptance and, it's not that you need to grieve someone to love them if they're no longer with us, and there might be other ways to understand your tragedy and understand why people love you and stuff like that. So I think that might be a good part for Wanda's growth is if he's no longer with the story. Not having him, I think, would be much better for Wanda than having him, because it's her still being tied to this person. And not that they shouldn't be together or that they had anything wrong, but what she's lost, if he was still in the story, I think it would just give the impression that, you don't need to grow emotionally. You don't need to lose people to grow, and you can just always bring them back from the dead.
And he just turns into the fucking Waynes. We're just gonna shoot you in the face every movie until we just can't get away from this. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's well said.
Yeah. And so I think what we know as Vision is probably dead. It's probably already dead. And, because there's the physical body that we now see animated. There's the perception of Vision, which we see animated by Wanda, which I think is a profound idea that they come together and maybe create a semblance of what Vision was. But the person that we know and love that gave his life to protect the universe is probably gone. And her acceptance of that is probably going to be the big point in which it's I've been living a lie. This is all fake. None of this is real. And I'm fucking
we're going through the stages
so sad.
We're going through the stages of her grief, and now we're at stage 9. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're
right
at
at
the
the
end.
I didn't even think about it in that way. Jesus.
Yeah.
Christ.
The final episode is going to be Wanda talking to Oprah.
yeah.
Oh my
That
god!
would be amazing.
But then we turn out that like Oprah's been a giant malevolent evil force or whatever, and then
It was Oprah.
It was Oprah.
She teams up with Hayward, and she goes, "You get a vision, and you get a vision, and you get a vision."
I will say, with that in mind, our Vision is gone, but I really do think that Hayward's entire plot could be the MCU equivalent of Sentinels.
Sure.
Coming in this idea that humanity is creating a defense, powered by themselves instead of relying on superpowered individuals. And of course that will definitely get away from them.
William Stryker or Boulevard Trask almost, right?
Trask all the way. Yeah.
He was talking like an X-Men congressman a little bit there a couple episodes back. You know what I mean?
He was.
Yeah.
So I think that will probably happen, and also the sense that if he can reach the internet, if he can get away, if he can hack into the satellites himself, Vision was able to just Jarvis was able to buy a building as Tony Stark and the Hulk were crashing into the building. This technology is so far advanced and so quick. There is so much possibility for that to happen. If there's not a sock that says, "Hey, you don't touch the internet," then he's gone, man.
Clippy pops up and goes "I see you're trying to hack me." Whatever the fuck it is, right?
I see you're a sentient being. How may I help you?
right.
Please don't assimilate me. Me
for real.
Oh man, what an incredible panel! What an incredible time! What an incredible season of television WandaVision has been, everyone. I want to give it a round of applause for my panelists here. This has been super fun. We kind of been talking all in our own ways privately. It's been super cool. Like I said, I've been talking with Sean privately, talking with Sam, and also Hax. Of course, we have our podcast on Sunday, so it will be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. We're going to be excited to talk about that. But it's cool when you get to bring a bunch of people together who have different thoughts about storytelling and what they specifically enjoy about TV. And it was just super fun to have this panel here today. So everyone that's still watching, just make sure you check out the description of the video. Links to all their social media, all their content, links down in the description if you want to go check them out. But before we go, let's do a little goodbye and chat. Thank you, Chad, of course. Let's give it a little thumbs up for all the awesome questions and comments in there. Sorry we couldn't get to all of them.
There.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But what's next for all of you, Sam? What's next for you, my man? What's going on?
Oh well, I've literally just come back from a couple of days filming a new thing that I can't talk about, which is reasonably exciting.
So exciting!
Hell yeah!
I'll just pepper that one.
Right.
Keep a check on my IMDb.
Right.
If you could check my IMDb every single day, that would really help me.
I do.
Yeah,
rating.
check it every day.
Hold on, Sam. How did you get a hold of my browser history? What the fuck?
It wasn't my IMDb, or what are you looking at, Sean?
Is IMDb is OnlyFans?
Oh my God! There we go. Absolutely. God knows.
Mhm.
Well, what about only farms?
Only
That's
Sam.
your
It's just
veggies.
people called Sam.
I'm with it. But that's
So,
awesome.
yes,
That's very cool. Anything else?
Well, I mean, there's that. I mean, and then other than that, I'm just doing sort of politics stuff and
Hell yeah!
the usual shit. Lockdown, just chilling here in the UK.
Doing the damn lockdown thing.
You know, we've got an awful government, but at least we have free healthcare and
Right,
not guns. You know,
True.
Oh man, yeah, me and Sam are so look at the left side of the pod here, which
Yeah,
you
we
see on
got-
the right. We're a little bit better off on the right side.
Hold on.
On your side.
Hold on, I got a checkup. I got a boil on my back that I've had for like a couple of months.
But by the way, so Sam does represent an area of the UK. He has people. He's a councilman. He does great work. He's passionate about what he does. And you can go check out all the links to his cameo if you want to get him to pop in and say something cool, or you can talk to him on Twitter. And Sam's a cool guy. Thanks for joining us, Sam. It's been cool chatting
Thanks
with
for
you, man.
having me.
Something
Thanks for
other than
having me.
it's so awesome because I know you love movies and TV, and it's so cool to have you on to chat about something
more than
like
movies and
Thrones.
TV. I tell you what I love is the watchers podcasts and watching Sean, Morgan, and Dustin looking at things like WandaVision and things, and just because also, I mean, I hate reaction videos typically because I'm that person that like anytime someone makes a noise when I'm watching something, I'm like, shh, you're missing bits.
Nope.
So like
Right.
watching like Sean do a bit when I know there's like something interesting coming, I'm like, Sean, shut up, you're gonna miss it. But I
That's
watch,
what we. That's what. Well,
And I
that's
love
what.
it.
That's what we put the
Weren't you
subtitles
part
on.
of some of the reactions, Sam, for like the final season of Thrones? Didn't you go to Burlington Bar?
oh yeah, well, I went
We
to
flew 'em in?
That was great.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that was awesome, dude. We
Oh, man.
remember we could like be around people and just be like
Oh my
hammered.
god.
hammered. I think I touched your face like 5 times that night, just inadvertently. Like like.
Hugs. And what are they? Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I miss going to cons and seeing everyone,
Yeah,
like meeting up with
right?
you guys, having a beer and some nachos and just chatting about life, man. I miss that so
Yeah,
much.
well, but like we're kind of like we're in the end game now, like because we're kind of we're getting there. We are getting there. It's like I was telling somebody the other day. It's simultaneously like way longer and way shorter than I think that we kind of like than we expect to think at this point. But, we're getting towards the end. We're getting towards the end of that end of the whole thing, and that's But stuff like this has been literally killing my brain from like eating itself and stuff. So again, thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, and
For
by the
all
way,
of it.
like I said, Sean TankTop YouTube, also part of the Watchers on the Bar. I put that link in the description as well. I felt like I wasn't sure if we could have 6 people because I haven't tested it out yet, but I knew that we could fit 4, so we will have to have the Draces back on for some more reactions.
Oh, we got to get him. We got to get him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gotta get 'em.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like one also give a look see at the YouTube. We're going to be covering a couple different things. We're going to be covering Falcon Winter Soldier coming up. We're going to be doing those weekly, which is going to be a lot of fun. And then we're going to be taking a dive into the Snyder Cut. We're talking about going back in time, talking about reality bending what possibly should have been. Like we're going to be checking that out too, which that's going to be again like. How we organize that is going to be really interesting because it'll literally be like the longest single piece of entertainment that we've ever reviewed.
And it comes out the day before Falcon and Winter Soldier.
It is. It's almost like, again, they're back at, that they're just sitting there just like, no, I'm putting my thing out. Like, no, I'm putting my fucking thing out.
My
like,
thing
or
comes
whatever.
out first.
They do that shit all the time. But so like the, we're going to be covering that. And, we're doing trailer reactions. We're doing, I mean, like just as like a roll licking, don't really have to look too much into it. Good time. We're going to be doing some material for the upcoming Mortal Kombat movie, which is cool. Like you get like you get me a frozen blood knife and like I'm just like I'm fine. Like I already know that I'm good with that with everything that movie's gonna do. So got a lot of stuff coming out. Come over and check us out there. again, thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah, we'll talk again soon for sure. Sean's a recurring character in our sitcom here on Fandom Media Universe.
I'm sitting there, I'm always trimming the hedges. Hey, what's up, buddy? Like,
and then whenever I need to wake up Sean to come back again, I let him in some like vision. I go, and
there you go.
I wake him up from the circus after he's been pounding back.
Oh my god! Absolutely. Oh yeah. No, I mean, well, that's just a normal Tuesday for me. Like I'm hungover. I wake up and I'm like, why do I have clown makeup on? What the fuck's going on here? You know what I mean? Like all that stuff.
Yeah, but like I said, all links in the description if you want to go check out Sean and his group and Mr. HaxDogma.
Hey,
what's next for you, my friend?
Thank you for having me on, man. This has been great, and I'm so looking forward to continuing this in the future and covering Falcon Winter Soldier with you. My channel will be covering all of this. I'll be doing a finale breakdown for this incredible show, as well as moving over to Winter Soldier. I have great hope that they can do something. There's always that little nagging voice in the back of my head that's like, maybe they won't. I don't know. Yeah. But at the same time, yeah, we're going to be covering everything Marvel, and I'm also going to be putting out a Kong versus Godzilla video.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Because I think Kong is going to massacre Godzilla, and I appear to be in the minority there. So.
I think I was chirping you on Twitter about that yesterday.
Everybody's more in Zilla's corner. I mean, like, I think it's going to be pretty knockdown drag out. I do think it's going to be kind of a case of like the versus movies, like where we fight for a bunch and then we got a team.
And then a third party comes in,
and then we're fucking mates at the end.
I think they're gonna. Yeah, I think that Kong's more likely to win because of how they want to structure the movie. But Gojira is the true king.
He has thumbs, bro. He has thumbs. Like,
so he can hold that stupid axe he has.
The axe is kind of killing me. I'm just like, who, like what?
How?
This is like the metalist shit I've ever seen.
I normally reserve this soundboard for people who are mean in chat. But that's for my. I don't know why I keep on doing this to my co-host, man. I'm being rude. But,
yeah.
Oh man. There's really some great movies coming out, right, Chris? Yeah. Like Mortal Kombat, Kong. Yeah, like those are coming out soon, right?
Yeah,
very soon. Yeah,
Kong, March. When is Mortal Kombat coming out? I didn't know.
Mid-April. I want to say like in the teens, like April 15, 16, 17, somewhere around there. But like mid-April, because it's like Snyder cut. It's like Kong Snyder cut.
Yeah.
Like Falcon Winter Soldier. It's kind of all. It's just this like this big crazy whatever.
Bad Batch on Disney Plus 2 for Star Wars for those who are animated fans.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of that type of stuff. But then you get a little bit of a break once we're. Once we're over like living in a society and stuff like that, and then we're gonna have, and then I think MK comes. It's kind of gonna be like their first like kind of early summer release. I think.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I might cover Mortal Kombat as well. I love that story. I've probably played all the games, the last 5 or 6 at least, and then early when I was a kid, all of them growing up. Plus, like the couple movies, I don't think they're bad movies. They're pretty bad CGI and stuff like that. But if you're a tournament,
I stand by that first one. I am. This is like where I kind of get like knuckle dragger Neanderthal, kind of like where I'm just like, just play the fucking '90s techno song and fucking and rip a couple of spines out, and I'm good to go, bro. That's kind of.
I think people complain about it because if they expect Emmy-winning writing, like you know what I mean, they don't know it. Like you know what I mean, these movies. Who knows? Who knows?
Sure.
Well, new one might be, but I remember I had a buddy of mine just break down like the lore, and it's like fucking J.R. Tolkien has been writing like the Mortal Kombat shit, but it's like, but it is hung together by this B movie, kind of, just kind of schlocky kind of thing, which is kind of what's so kind of fun about it. So I think that'll be fun.
I was also going to bring up earlier when we were talking about something, but Spawn is another IP that is massive. The lore of the Spawn series is so good. And I'm just waiting for that to become a MCU equivalent series, because it could literally be on par with it.
Totally.
But yeah, so that's everything I'm working on. I'm probably also going to start covering Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I might, because they announced that there's going to be Avatar Studios, and it's going to be a massive thing.
Have you watched that show?
Oh, in so many
okay.
times. So
Okay. All right. Like,
Dude, we've actually talked about covering it in the live stream. You know what? Let's all get together to talk about Avatar.
I'm with it. No, because we are just now going through the season for the first time. I'm a complete noob, dude. Yeah, like
I love that so much, dude.
I dropped season 3, episode 2 today.
I love that so much. I love that so incredibly much.
No, it's so sick. So so I'm with it. Like I am a very recent convert, and so I'm on board for that shit for sure.
And honestly, like for anyone that knows, I've published a book. Kind of want to get into more storytelling and stuff like that. So I am genuinely considering putting together a spec script for a story that could exist in the realm of Avatar Studios, and like some crazy elaborate story that kind of ties into to Aang or another part of the Avatar saga. Like there's so much lore there to explore and space for other stories to exist, and I would love to be a part of that. Like so, but yeah, that's all I'm
give me a job.
Hire Sam, lead actor. Yeah, baby.
Right.
Director.
No, I remember it was like when they announced that they were bringing Avatar Studios and they're bringing it all over to to Paramount Plus, because we always keep saying this. We're like, I've gotten my last membership to a fucking streaming service. I bought my last membership to a streaming service, et cetera, so forth. Yeah. And then like that Chappelle Show bit, like Paramount and Avatar Studios just come up and they're like, "Gotcha, bitch! Gotcha, bitch!"
So good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But chat, if you want to go check out HaxDogma, links in the description of the video. HaxDogma YouTube, Twitter, and I believe you have a Facebook page as well. Check it all out. It's all in the link of the no Facebook page, but hey. But look up HaxDogma. This has been super fun, everyone. Wow, how many hours are we away from the finale? We're technically 8 hours, I think 8.5, 9 hours away from the finale. So
I'm with it, man. Can't wait. It's gonna be fun. Do not text me at 4 a.m, dude, bro. Because it's just gonna eat at me so bad. Because
I'm going to bed early so I can wake up early so I can watch it and get the video out early.
There you go. Excellent. I'm into it.
Well, it's been fun, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this. Of course, have a rest marvelous of your day. Make sure it's marvelous. And we're gonna put on a little music. Is it Agatha all along? Is it Mephisto? Probably not. Is there someone else coming for the WandaVision finale? I say yes. We will see you all in the next live stream, everyone. I'll see you later.